Hey, hey, hey. What's the dealio, dealio, dealio? Listen, it is Thankful Thursdays, as I say each and every week. We have the activities of our limbs. We ain't in nobody's jail. We ain't in nobody's hospital. Listen, if you are tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, I just am so grateful. I love the rain. And I'm telling you, I've had a tumultuous week. But when I tell you I had the best sleep last night, the heavens said Zsa Zsa needs some good rest. And they must have knew to let me sleep well. I hope that you all are sleeping well and you are rested up, because this daylight savings time and all the stuff that's going on has definitely played a toll. But if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about PWA, Parents with an Attitude. PWA, y'all. Now, I know y'all heard of NWA. For those of you who remember, you know, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, NWA. I know you saw Compton, the movie. But I want to talk to you about parents with an attitude. Are you a product of your parent or not? Because, see, you know, growing up, you know, when you are young, you know, your parents say things like, you know, I slap the taste out your mouth. You know, growing up, your mama say crazy stuff like that, or I slap you to next week. Like, you know, you be looking at your parent like, how you gonna slap me to next week? But you don't say nothing, right? You keep your cool, because as a kid, you know, the only people that you have to look up to in terms of in your household are your parents. When you think about your walk and your journey in life and where you are right now, it is either because you didn't want to be like your parents, or it's because you're doing whatever it is to make your parents proud, so that they can give you that stamp of validation and that stamp of approval. And I'm going to tell you something, being a 30 blah, blah, blah years old, you know, and raising my son, and he's 17, and he's literally the age, literally right now, that I was when I had him. And I'm talking today about PWA, Parents with an Attitude. I know for this past week, you all have been talking about Kirk Franklin. Over the past week, we have been talking about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's WAP performance. We have been talking about the stimulus checks that's getting ready to drop in our communities. And if they're not dropping, they're getting ready to start dropping. But that's not my concern. My concern is this next generation of kids. Are they going to be functional enough to be productive citizens? Or have we gotten to the point where we're so far gone that we're not even thinking about the generations that's going to be coming behind us? Are we so caught up in the present moment that we're not focusing on these little babies? And I'm not just talking about on a surface of vagina slapping vaginas with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, because some of y'all got your in your browsers Pornhub right now. Some of your lifestyles is just as trifling as they are saying her performance was. See, these are some of the things that I don't like that we got to start talking about, because you already know, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You can't judge Kirk Franklin for cussing out his kids, but you calling your kids an MFer. You telling your kids to shut the hell up. Your kids know to bring you your packs of cigarettes. They know to make you a drink. See, we can't get to a point where we're so far gone with judging another person parenting when we don't have the light shining on what you got going on in your household. See, some of you men, you're taking care of kids that ain't even yours. You won't even take care of your own kid, but you around here taking care of somebody else's kid. It's some mamas out here that's trifling as hell. You will go get your hair done, go get cute, go get all fine to be around some man, but your daughter look a hot mess. I see it all the time. I see little girls and little boys looking a hot mess, walking to the store, going to the mall, going out to places, and I know they parents got money. They got Social Security checks, beneficiary checks. They hustling, scamming, and scheming. Why your kids look like that? But that shouldn't be. Let me tell you something about me. Okay, I've been broke down on my last, but one thing's for sure, two things for certain. You will never, ever, ever see my son hurting. There were times that I took my last $10 to go make sure he got a haircut. And if you're tuning in, I'm talking about PWA, parents with attitude. Because if you focus and put your focus and your investment into your children, you will always have a return on your investment. My main goal right now is to create generational blessings, not generational curses. I watched my mama struggle taking care of 7 kids, 4 girls and 3 boys, literally. And I saw her do it with a man, and I saw her do it without a man. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to y'all said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because I'm going to tell you something. Some of you men, you need to have more respect for your children's mother. I don't care if you don't like that HOE no more, that 304. Yeah, the relationship is over. But I'm going to tell you something. When you are at peace with your child's mother or your child's father, you can be a good parent for your kid. Don't wait like I did and try to get along with your kid's dad at 17. My son don't care nothing about having a relationship with his dad at this point. And there was a point in my life where I probably would have been okay with that because of the anger that I held on to because our relationship and because of me being a single mother, and I got to go to the doctor by myself, and I got to deal with this kid attitude, and I got to deal with him not finishing his homework, and I got to be up doing science fair projects. So I was angry. I was an angry mama because you over here hanging out, having fun, going out, hitting the streets, and I got a baby. So when it comes to parents having positive children to look to and say, that's my kid. You know, there was a part of me that was angry at my family because it's like, okay, y'all see what I'm doing? We got to get our family back on track. We off track. And the ancestors in our family wasn't having that. We was having picnics, family night. My grandma was cooking every Sunday. Every Sunday. There was not a Sunday that my grandma wasn't cooking. Okay? Full-blown stage cancer and all. But she was cooking. Okay? She might have lost a little bit on the seasoning at times. But that's the type of lineage that we come from. Where families work together to get shit done. Now, for all you saints out there, yes, I cuss. And if you go still listen to Kirk Franklin, then you damn sure can still listen to me. Okay? Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because I'm going to tell you something about people. People only show you what they want you to know. Kirk Franklin cussed too good, baby, for them not to be regular words to come out his mouth. Now, he may not cuss all the time. That may not be a regular thing that he do. But, baby, the way that he orchestrated those words means that those words are used often. Okay? We're going to tell the truth and shame the devil. Okay? And sometimes as parents, come on, parents, somebody tell me something. If I'm in the right spot, tell me something. I want you to make sure that you comment because maybe I'm on the right track, maybe I'm not. You let me know. Comment for my parents and for my children out there. You comment too. But sometimes these kids make you want to punch them in the face. Okay? I mean full force, ball it up, and just go, boop, shut up. Say something else. You turn into Pinky from next Friday. And you like, boy. Because there were times raising my son that I didn't realize that, okay, my son's dealing with some emotions. I'm dealing with some emotions. And sometimes as a parent, we become emotionally drained. We going to work. We trying to have friendships and relationships. So it doesn't leave us a lot of room to try to be a better parent. But that got to be your number one goal. If you and the other parent ain't together, or if you are having some challenges, because I'm going to tell you something. Nobody wins when the family feuds. That's a real thing. Nobody wins when the family feud. You can't enjoy what you meant to enjoy if you beefed out with your family. It's just that simple. Yeah, you're going to move on with your life. Yeah, you're going to do your everyday due diligence. Yeah, you're going to go on about your day. But I'm gonna tell you something. When there's beef within families, or beef within your business, or beef within your company, or where you work, you can't have a peaceful mindset. When you got beef and issues with people you go to church with, and issues and people you got, this is the thing. We got to get to a place, family, black people, my brothers and my sisters, well, everybody shouting out Black Lives Matter, but yet we so quick to pull out the gun. We so quick to put up our fists. We quick to want to hurt one another before we're quick to want to talk to each other. And I just had an experience where I have to learn not to be so short with people, because let me tell y'all something. I have a very small tolerance for stupidity. And when I feel like the conversation is getting ready to get dumb, I immediately go into exit stage left. And I'm going to tell you something. We are living in a world where we want the honest truth. We don't want people lying to us, but yet we're sensitive. Our feelings get hurt easily. We want the truth. We want to be 100, 1,000. We want everybody to know that we 100, that we the real deal. But yet when it comes to making those real deal decisions and making those real ninja moves, no, we weak up. We tense up. We turn into a little girl and little boy. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking about PWA, parents with an attitude. Because here it is. We'll slander Kirk Franklin, but your household ain't in order. We'll put him on the chopping block, but you literally one rent payment away from losing your own home while you judging theirs. You can't even deal with your own kids. You mad because the schools ain't open because you want to drop your kids off because you don't want to deal with them. Okay? And it ain't just the saints. It's the saints, the ain'ts, and the wannabes. See, you got to be careful when you put your mouth on people, because you never know when it's going to be your time on the chopping block. Right now, I got a situation with a young lady, and see if the truth is exposed, because see, I'm about the truth, baby. Tell the truth and shame the devil. See, you can't always, you don't always have to fight every lie that's said about you. You know, there were things that people said about me that weren't true. And a part of me was disappointed, because the lies came from people who knew me. The lies came from people who knew my circumstance. See, one of the things that I've learned in this life is that you don't always have to fight a lie with the truth, because the truth gonna come out. See, people who lie, they got to keep up with them lies. They got to remember who they told them lies to. They got to remember what they said, what they omitted, what they added. And I'm going to tell you something, baby. The truth always wins, because you ain't got to replace the truth with nothing else. The truth is the truth. And see, some people really can't handle the truth. Some people will have said a lie over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where they really believed it. Like, you really believe it in your lie. It's like when a man is caught cheating, or a woman is caught cheating, and you immediately lie. And so now you got to keep up with that lie. You got to maintain that lie. You gonna have to you got to call the people so that people can have a backup for your lie. It's too much. It's too much. Team too much. It's team too much. And when you grow up, literally grow up, not a little kid, not because your age is older. When you really grow up, when you really mature, you don't have time for the foolishness. You don't have time for the games. And when you really realize that life is really too short, when you really realize that, okay, we literally just lost millions of people last year to an invisible disease attack on the entire world, you start looking at life differently. Do I really have time for these petty beefs and these petty dramas? And see, I'm going to tell you something about our world, about black people. We ain't never had no money for real. So now that we getting ready to get some money, y'all niggas better stop acting crazy. Stop acting crazy. Get somewhere, formulate a plan. And if you and that baby mama or you and that child's father are not on great terms, Why don't y'all schedule a meeting to have a mediation? One of the best decisions that I made a few months ago was having a family meeting with my son's father, as well as his other children's mother. Because I'm going to tell you something. My son is getting ready to walk into the best season of his life. And I'm not about to allow nothing to stop that, especially not no petty beef from a Negro who couldn't keep his penis in his pants and decided to have sex with two friends. The end. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because we're still celebrating Women's History Month. And one of the things that I've known in history, ladies, is that we will allow a man, who did I say? A man. We'll let a man come in between friendships. We'll let a man come in between business. We'll let a man come in between sisterhoods. We'll let a man come in between... We'll let a man come in between all of our issues, all of our drama, and all of our problems, and then we got an attitude. We want to know why we mad. We mad. I've never seen so many women who can't establish great relationships, all because they let some penis come in between them. Let me tell you something. I don't want no penis in my life that's going to cause me problems. Okay? And I thank God every day for the black man. I thank God every day because I'm raising a black man. Okay? So I can't have an issue and a plight with the black man, and I'm raising one. Just like I tell my son, before I was your mother, I was a woman. Before I was your mama, I had ambition, dreams, and goals. Before I became a single parent, you got to understand something, son. I'm holding this household down just me. It's me. So... when you upset at me because I'm yelling at you about getting your black behind up out that bed, well, guess what? If something go down, they gonna look at me. They not gonna be looking at him. And as great as we have gotten, we have gotten to a place right now where me and his father can have a conversation. Now, I don't know about you all, but that's growth for me. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking about parents with an attitude, PWA. Products of our parents or non. Listen, make sure that you support and follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, You Know Zsa Zsa, because you do. Stop acting fake and phony. We're going to have to learn to support each other for real. If we ever think that we're going to be in Atlanta, LA, or any of those things being in the market, and I'm talking on a business level, and I'm talking about on a money level, if we ever think that Detroit, Michigan, the city of Detroit, can be of excellence like a place like Michigan, like a place like Atlanta or LA or Miami, we're going to have to learn to support each other for real. All that other little stuff, you're going to have to learn to put that stuff aside, baby. I'm about that bag. So if you mad at me or mad at whoever you mad at, listen, if the beef ain't bigger than the bag, then look, I don't want it. My bag got to be bigger than this beef right now. Right now, I got a kid that's getting ready to go off to college. I can't afford to be beefed out with somebody, especially if it ain't about nothing for real. And see, tell the truth and shame the devil. Because if some of y'all really tell the truth about some of the beefs that y'all in, it ain't really even about nothing for real. Really, for real, for real. If we really put down the facts and we really put out the truth and expose what's really going on out here, some of it ain't even for real. And actually and honestly, you'll look bad before I do. Yeah. Because I cover my steps so well. And I'm not trying to be perfect because I pray and I ask God to order my steps. That's why I know my steps are good. I know my steps are good because I ask God to orchestrate my steps. The Bible says in all thy ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. I ask God to help me. I ask God to show me the people I'm dealing with. I ask God to remove them if they ain't for me. So it ain't a matter of, I got to watch my back. I ain't got to watch my back for what? God got my back, my front, my top, and my bottom. What I got to watch my back for? From you? The liar? The deceiver? The manipulator? See, you got to think. You got to learn to call spades to spades. See, I can't argue with fools. I can't argue with pretenders. And see, you got to get to a point, parents, where you know what? Am I going to deal with the foolishness or am I going to go ahead and focus on my focus? I literally waited 17 years for my son senior year at this particular moment. And for some people, you know, I'm different. I'm definitely unorthodox in a lot of my ways, but I'm always pure and I'm always genuine and my heart is always right. And I know it's always right because there aren't people that will do what I do. When I volunteer places, I ain't volunteering with a grudging heart. My countenance isn't with an attitude. I don't have furrowed brows when I have to deal with the public and the community. I'm not doing this for show or to get some accolades. I do this because I love to do it and I've been doing it my whole entire life. From being a kid all the way up until my age right now. So if you want to know what I've ever done, look what I've did. So at the end of the day, I got to learn to tap into my divine power. And if I know that I want my son to live a blessed life, if I know that I'm building right now for generational blessings, so when Zsa Zsa Hubbard is dead and gone, my son ain't scrambling. He ain't got a nickel and dime. He ain't got a scheme and scam. He ain't got to link up with nobody to try to get a hookup. Because you know what? His mama has put in enough work and he has helped me. My sister has helped me to solidify and get something solid. When my mom died, there was a part of me that was frustrated because we had just enough money to bury her, have her ceremony, to do everything that we needed to do for my mom. We didn't have to scramble. We didn't have to beg. We didn't have to do none of that. However, it would have been a blessing to be able to have a couple coins to sit on after her demise. When my father committed suicide, it would have been a blessing to know that after he passed, that here it is, you got your kids that are still in high school, you got kids that are in elementary and middle school. It would have been a blessing to be able to propel your children to a better place. And I'm going to tell you something. There are some young people and some adults right now that are getting it out the mud. They don't have no generational wealth that they're getting it from. They don't have no parents that has invested in them. And let me tell you something. Don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for your situation or for your parents' situation. I never was embarrassed by my mom. Never. And my mom was plus size. You know, kids used to make fun of my mama because, you know, she was fat and voluptuous and plus size. But my mama was beautiful. Beautiful. And I didn't let nobody make fun of me because my dad had been to prison. He was my dad. And you need to teach your kids, don't be ashamed when you have a special needs relative or you got a drunk uncle or different things of that nature. I never made my family feel bad, but one of the things that I wanted from my family is for us to work together as a family. You can't go work for somebody else's family, big somebody else's brand up, and you ain't helping your own family. God ain't gonna honor that. How is it that you can go sell chicken dinners and flyers for somebody else, but you can't do it for your own family? You mean to tell me that you gonna hop on somebody else's team and you got somebody right in your own camp that you could help, but you don't? God ain't gonna bless you with that. And see, this is the thing when it comes to a Kirk Franklin and his son. You got to be careful with people who take pleasure in trying to expose you. His son was wrong. His son was wrong. And I don't care if his daddy did cuss him out. I don't care if he did feel some type of way. And I'm not saying that we don't expose traumas and issues that we have in our households. No, we do expose it. We do. That's what therapy's for. Okay? That's what the pastor's for. Okay? That's where you seek wisdom and understanding. That's where you go and you go to somebody who has a level head that can help. See, when that boy, that young man, decided to expose his father and record a private message, he had somebody in the passenger seat egging him on. He had somebody, you know what I'm saying, that was witnessing what was happening between a father and a son. And see, you got to be careful with people who are okay with seeing chaos within a family, chaos within friendship. You got to watch people who are okay with encouraging more chaos and more separation. See, when I had a mental breakdown and suffered from anxiety and depression and was outside with my gym shoes on and my Spanx and my bra with no wig on because I was fed up. I literally was fed up. And women, we carry so much to the point where we literally are one issue away from having a nervous breakdown. We are one diaper away from depression. We are one phone call away from taking our own lives. And ladies, you got to be careful that you are not so focused on making sure everybody else is good except for you. I was paying bills for a house that I was sleeping on the floor. Okay? I was making sure everybody else was good but me. I was making sure everybody else was emotionally stable but me. I was making sure everybody else's finances was straight but me. I was making sure everybody else's business and nonprofit was good but my own. I was making sure that I was helping at the church and being here for this program and being here for this ministry. But when it came down for people being there for me, well, where they at? Here it is. I'm bigging everybody else up, being there for everybody else. And when it came down to it, people were okay with listening to the lies. You got to be careful about them type of people too. You got to be careful about people who are okay with listening to lies about somebody who they know about. That's just like somebody coming to me, talking to me about you. And I'm listening like, what? And what? You got to watch people like that. You got to watch people that's okay with sitting at the table listening to somebody dog you out. How you say you for me, but you sitting at the table while they talking about me. And you ain't going to say nothing. You ain't going to stop them from saying nothing. That was one of the hardest things having to go through as a woman, knowing that here it is, another woman is trying to slander my name over a man that I already been with. Baby, I already know what that penis do. I know what them pockets do. I know what that praise do. I know what's happening right now because he was in my house. And women, we do it all the time. We will be beefed out with a whole nother woman over a man that don't care nothing about neither one of y'all. He loved his mama more than he loved either one of y'all. But here it is. You got women that'll fight over another man and he got a whole nother girl in the corner pocket. I love y'all, man. I love y'all so much because y'all be having me cracking up. You had two women right here fighting over you right here. You got a whole situation right here. And the situation over there is for real. This right here, that's just for play. That's just for entertainment when you lonely, when you just want to hook up with somebody or whatever the case may be. And see, women, we become products of that situation because we become emotionally invested in a man. And depending on what kind of penis he got, he'll mess you up. Now, see, I said earlier in the program, I don't want no penis that comes with problems. I want a priest in my household, a man that I can look up to. If I can't look up to you, then I ain't looking. Okay? Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. What I need to look at you for? You looking at me. Now we both looking at each other. How we going to help each other if you don't know what you want? You confused about where you want to be in life. You don't know what you want to do. And I'm going to say this too. Sometimes you got to be patient with a person so that they can, if they're worth you waiting on, if they're worth having that dialogue, they're worth having that relationship, then there's going to be a different way and outlook of you doing things. You're going to be a little bit more patient if the value of the relationship is there. But I don't want no penis that's going to give me problems. I got to take care of you. You got to live with me. I got to help you. First of all, as a man, you shouldn't even feel comfortable. A man should not feel comfortable living with a woman. He shouldn't feel comfortable with a woman taking care of him. He shouldn't feel comfortable. Now, I'm going to tell you this. The only way he should feel a little bit of comfort is if he know he's working hard to put her back on. The only way he should feel a little sense of comfort is knowing that he getting ready to get out here on the grind, flip whatever he getting ready to flip, put that money back where he got it from so that he can feel back like a man. That's the only way he'll feel comfortable with taking something from another woman. Any man that's okay with taking something from a woman, especially when she got kids and don't plan on coming in and replacing it, you a sucker ass nigga. And excuse my language, but yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because real men don't feel comfortable with taking from a woman. If anything, a real man want to come and add to that woman. He don't want to give her no headache. He don't want to give her no problems. And real men, even if he know you got a man on the side, he gonna be so cool about it that he already know you got a headache with the one you dealing with. So he's gonna do things for you ladies that's gonna cause you not to have a headache. See, there are men that try to talk to me that I won't ever date. Because A, you about to talk me to death about nothing. Right now, I'm getting to the bread. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all. The end. And if that's not the conversation that we on, and it's not to say that I'm money hungry or I'm a gold digger, but right now I'm on this generational blessings. And if we ain't talking generational blessings, then we talking generational curses. The end. Your conversations that you're having with people every day, all they do is end up in two categories. You're either talking about generational wealth or you talking about generational curses. That's it. That's it. That's all. I literally had a meeting a few weeks ago with my family, and we was literally in the kitchen talking about a plan, getting to the money, talking about our ancestors, talking about things that we need to change in our community. We weren't talking and dogging nobody else out. But see, that's the difference between people who are mature in life and want things and have a passion and have a purpose. And it's the difference between people who just living, who just going with the motions, who hating on people who found their purpose, who know what they want to do, but you got an attitude because you don't know what you want to do. So now you want to hate on somebody else who got the formula, who working a formula, and instead of helping that person until you figure out what you want to do, you'll hate on that person. Detroit will never be where we need to be until we figure that part out. Y'all worried about WAP and a performance when you need to be worrying about your WAP and your performance. Because some of you are getting ready to lose your husbands because some of these girls then when they got their BBLs, they done when they got their breasts done, and you sitting up here nagging at your husband, you about to lose them. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Some of you are going to be very, very sad this summer because you're focused on the wrong thing. Your children suffer from anxiety and depression, and you ain't even paying attention to it, ladies, because you chasing behind that man. You chasing behind a man, but your daughter is watching porn on Pornhub. You chasing behind your girlfriend, and your son don't want nothing to do with you. And I'm going to say this, parents. Because if you're tuning in, you're listening to Y'all Said It, y'all already know. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, make sure you follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, on all my social media platforms. Listen, make sure that you tune in tomorrow for my new episode of my TV show, Uncommon Conversations with Zsa Zsa. I have a very, very special guest, Lady J the Painter. Janaea Rogers is going to be my very, very special guest on my TV show. Listen, that's channel 90 on Comcast, channel 15.2 on regular digital analog TV. Listen, don't be no hater. Set your DVR. You set your DVR for all the other TV shows you want to watch. Listen, I need your views too, because I'm trying to get Detroit as one of the #1 markets, or at least one of the top 5 markets. And right now, Detroit is number 12. That's why we are never involved in that Atlanta, Texas, LA, Miami. When they mention those major cities, they don't mention Detroit. Even though Detroit is one of the major cities that really has done everything in this world. Literally, we have set trends for everything in this world. Literally. Literally. So for you not to know where you come from and to not know where you going, yeah, it's going to be difficult. We're going to get more deaths. We're going to have more babies being lost because their parents is now dead or in jail because they dumb. Yeah, I said it. You're being dumb. And I was dumb. I was a dumb parent. And I thank God for, and I want to give a special shout out to my son's grandmother, Yvonne Denise Scott. You know, it brings tears to my eyes just thinking about it. Because when you got two parents that's dumb, somebody got to have a level head. Somebody got to make decisions. And see, when I had my son, I was 17, heartbroken. I knew where I was going to school, what I wanted to be in life. I knew everything about my world, getting ready to leave high school. What I did not anticipate or plan was to be leaving my high school with a baby and entering into my adulthood as a parent. So when I talk about PWA, parents with an attitude, I was a parent with an attitude. I was always the youngest parent out of the groups because, again, I was a kid with a kid. When my son's family, when his dad's side found out that I was pregnant, they had already prepared for my son's little cousin, who's literally 12 days younger than my son. My son was born July 1st. His cousin was born July, I think, 12th or 13th, one of the two. Literally, they're literally 2 weeks apart. They were prepared for the little cousin. They were not prepared for my son when he entered into the picture. So when I tell you that I went through so much hell raising him, I don't say it as a dramatization. I say it because this was real. I literally left college because I didn't even know that what I was feeling was called postpartum depression. I had my son July 1st, 2003. I had to be in college July 5th, 2003. I literally had a baby. 4 days later, I had to go to another state. And I left my brand new baby, my 4-day-old baby, here in Detroit while I pursued my college education at Bowling Green State University. And in order for me to keep my scholarship, I had to go. I had to go and set up a life for my kid. And for 17 years, I have been fighting to develop a generational blessing for my kid, for my family. And all I'm asking, like most women, is for support. Help. You know these women need help. And I ain't talking always about finances because, you know, we love them dollars too. Listen, them the only men that kind of excite me, okay? Them dead presidents, baby. It's the only kind of man that'll put a smile on my face right now, okay? Because I ain't on a penis chase. I ain't on that. Love is here. And yes, I do want to enjoy it one day. And yes, I am excited because whoever gonna get this right here, he gonna be blessed. What I say? Gonna be. That means for sure 100 all day long. But at the end of the day, ladies, as parents, we cannot afford to allow situations to break us down. And you know, one of the things that I learned in this moment, being dumb as a dumb parent, because me and Tayshawn's dad were dumb. We were dumb. We were young and dumb. I was 17, he was 21. And for the first 10 years of Tayshawn's life, all we did was fight and argue. The first 5 years, we tried to have a relationship. We talked about marriage, having a house. We looked, and truth be told, I could have been a woman with 2 kids. But I had to make a decision. Do I want to be another baby mama? Or do I want to make this decision that's potentially going to affect my entire life and my body? And I chose to make that decision. Because what I didn't want to happen is I have a baby, she have a baby, now I got a baby, now she got a baby. Now I got a baby, now she got a baby. And I'm telling you, there are girls, young ladies who got caught up in that thought process. Oh, I'm going to get him back, I'm going to sleep with him. And here it is. Now we are slopping and passing bacteria around. Now we're slopping and passing around diseases and sicknesses that our communities don't need. We got enough going on right now. We don't need no more problems. Let me tell you, when I tell you right now in my life, I don't need no more problems, no more issues. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to slap a lawsuit on another person because you can't play with me. I'm not allowing nobody to play with me in this particular season in my life and moving forward. And because I know the power that God has allowed me to possess, and I've tapped into my own divine power, and I know who I am, and there's nothing that nobody can say or do to persuade me to think of who I am. Because I'm going to tell you something. This is one of the reasons why I love my son's grandmother and his grandparents. God rest my mom and dad and my son's grandfather. Rest their souls, because my son's grandfather was a huge help with raising my son. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about PWA, Parents with an Attitude. And at the end of the day, there are going to be times where you all are not always going to get along. Me and my son's father, we made a lot of dumb decisions with how we mishandled one another. And my son's father was very quick to always call me an evangelist. Ain't you supposed to be an evangelist? Ain't you supposed to be out here preaching the word of God? And I'd be like, no, nigga, I ain't out here preaching the word of God. I need my child support money. You supposed to be watching our baby. You don't know what. And so it's hard for a man to receive that when you on that rah-rah. And when I tell y'all, I used to be on that rah-rah. Listen, I ain't give him no room. Like, I already knew. Like, and it got to a point where I had to stop with the rah-rah. It got to a point where I stopped calling. I ain't even returned a text message. I stopped asking. It was at one point, me and my son just put the child support card on the Etta J, because $15, what I'm going to do with that? My son eat $15 off one meal alone, and that's just an appetizer. So I had to get to a point where are you going to focus on what he ain't doing, or are you going to focus on what you need to be doing in this moment? Right now, you need to be focused on getting your son together, making sure he the best kid that he can be, and you can't worry about what nobody else doing, who helping, and who ain't helping. And I'm going to tell you something, parents, children, young people who watch me. We don't want to make it more difficult for Black families than what is already challenging. When I decided to sit down and have a family meeting with my son and his dad and his children's mother and my son's girlfriend and their parents, when I made the decision to do that, it wasn't for kicks and giggles. It was because I want to establish a relationship. See, one of the reasons why I was able to slip through the cracks sexually as a teenager is because my mom never wanted to have a conversation. She didn't want to have a conversation about sex. She didn't want to have a conversation about the things that my mama needed to talk to me about. And see, you all are having conversations about the wrong things. Y'all have ample opportunity to develop relationships, genuine relationships with your kids, and you ain't using this opportunity to do so. My son is literally getting ready to go off to college, and we literally had a whole beef at my house. Yeah, I said it before. I take it back on my mouth too, because I tell y'all these things, and I'm honest and I'm transparent, because I want families to be strong. I seen what the enemy can do to a family, because he did it to mine. And right now, we're trying to rebuild something that we allow other people to come in and tear down. People that weren't even part of our family had more opinions about our family than the people that were in it. And you got to be careful of people in your family that have outsiders in their ear talking to them about you and your family. Nobody should have more of an opinion about your family than the people that are in it. Your homegirl and your homeboy and your boyfriend and your girlfriend and your fiance, how they got more of an opinion about your people than you do? That ain't cool. Because when the stuff hit the fan and the man leave, Or when the stuff hit the fan and your homegirl leave, or when the stuff hit the fan and you and your homeboy ain't friends no more, that's still going to be your sister. Still going to be your brother. Still going to be your mom. Still going to be your dad. Still your uncle. Still your auntie. Still your cousin. I don't care how you feel about them. That's still your relative. And that's one of the things that I had to learn to do in this season. Being a parent with the attitude. I can't give my time and my effort to stuff that don't matter. Cuz I can't sit here and talk with you about the other cousin. Cuz I don't care. We all grown. She know what to do with her vagina just like I know what to do with mine. He know what to do with his money just like I know what to do with mine. Now, if they decide that that's something that they ain't going to do or something they don't want to do, then guess what? That's their decision. I had to learn not to give my opinion on things that don't affect me. Because then I ended up being upset. I'm mad because they didn't take my advice. I'm upset because they still with the no good Negro that they just literally was crying about. So here it is. I just gave you all this advice, provided you with all these resources, and you still playing in the mud. Okay. Cool. Cool. I had to learn to stop resisting to God's will for my life. A lot of times we want what we want, right? We want what we want. We want who we want. We want it when we want it. The end. But then there are times where God doesn't want you to have certain things when you want it. There are times when God don't want you to want who you want. There are times when God ain't going to give it to you when you want it. Let me tell you something. I'm glad that I didn't get the success that I wanted back then. Because back then, I was too immature to handle it. The minute somebody talked about me, I was going to be ready to fight. Y'all know I'm from Joy Road and 7 Mile. I be ready. Listen, let me tell you something. I've watched girls get beat up. Okay? Literally. From other women being jealous and envious. I literally in middle school started carrying a razor in my mouth because a girl I went to school with, her name is Sierra, Cece, a beautiful young lady. Beautiful young lady. And we're talking all about parents with an attitude. Because I'm going to tell you something. Friendships affect you as a parent. Your finances affect you as a parent. Your relationships affect you as a parent. When I saw that this girl was so pretty and other girls didn't like her because other guys wanted to talk to her. Girls wanted to cut her face. Girls cut her hair. And I thought to myself, wow, I don't ever want to be in a position where a woman hates me that much that she wants to physically harm me and do something to me. But guess what, ladies? We do that. We do that. We get to a point where we get so upset and frustrated where we do want to cause harm to a person. Let me tell you something. There were times in my life where I was thinking of some crazy stuff to do to people. And I had to literally pray to God and say, Jesus, please, Father, God, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to think about killing somebody or setting somebody up or taking somebody's life out. Because I'm going to tell you something. You got to be careful with how you deal with people. There are people who know people. Just like you think you big and bad and you know people from the projects and you know killers and skrillers and drug dealers and this, that, and the third. Don't let these people with these pearls and these suits and these little jackets and these mild personalities fool you. You will walk up into a situation where you will get done up. And see, people have to be careful of what bears to poke. Because everybody ain't gonna be out loud and outspoken and direct. Some people come as quiet assassins. You looking for one person and here come another person that you didn't even expect. That's why you got to be mindful of how you deal with people and how you treat people. And you got to be mindful that there are always witnesses. There are always witnesses. That's why I love my son's grandmother and his grandfather. Because at the end of the day, when I knew I couldn't depend on him, I knew that I could depend on them. And there were points and times that I cussed him out too. Because y'all got me all the way messed up. The reason why he was the way he was is because of y'all. Y'all enabled him. And sometimes as a parent, you can want to do things for your kids so much and love your kids so much and provide so much for your kids until the point where you have created a rotten individual. Your fault that they rotten. Your fault that they selfish and stingy. It's your fault that sometimes your daughter can't find a man because you have created such a high standard that every man that she is expected is to treat her like her daddy. Well, her daddy he didn't always have it. And when he got with your mama, the mama accepted him when he was broke, and now he got some money. Sometimes we can raise our kids to be the problem. Racism doesn't just spring out. It's not something that's in our DNA. Nobody wakes up or born and says, I'm going to hate somebody because of the color of their skin. Racism is a taught and a learned behavior. They heard it, they said it. Just like cursing. When you hear a little kid cussing, it ain't because they just sprouted the word out, they heard it. And if they hear it enough, they'll repeat it. If they see something enough, they'll emulate it. There are little kids that are in lawsuits right now because they done kissed another little kid and now they're being sued for sexual harassment. But we want to put emphasis on a performance, or we want to put emphasis on a Kirk Franklin, but what are we teaching our kids in our own household? What are we preparing the next generation for? And when it boils down to it, as women, as men, as parents, and let me tell you something. You don't have to actually have a baby come out your vagina to support young people. You somebody's auntie. You somebody big sis. You somebody big cuz. Growing up, I had a lot of aunties and uncles and big cuz and big sis that invested in me because they knew I don't want Zsa Zsa to turn out like the girl up the street who letting all the boys fill on her and have sex with her. Y'all know. Y'all grew up with them 304s that they ran trains on. Pretty girls. Pretty girls that was lost because their parents didn't want to grab a hold to them. But a few weeks ago, me and my son, we had a big blowout. I mean, a big one. And then everything in me wanted to say, you know what, Ninja? You got me all the way messed up. You got a mama from Joy Road, exit 9, come up off the freeway, and you got me messed up. And I'm thinking in my mind, do I send some goons on my own kid? Because that's just how bad we had got into it, y'all. And see, I ain't no dummy. My son is strong, okay? He's an athlete. I'm an athlete too, but I'm a woman. And you got to get to a point, ladies and gentlemen, when you start thinking smarter and not harder. You up in this man face, want to argue with him, and you provoking him, and you pressuring him. Hit me, knock me out, do this, do that. Ladies, why would you want to even do that? Why put yourself in a position where you even allowing a man to even want to put his hands on you? And see, I don't like women who use domestic violence as a ploy to try to get a man to do what you want him to do. Because all it'll do is cause resentment, frustration, and now y'all got records because they ain't coming to the house to get one of y'all no more. They coming to the house and they getting both of y'all. I'm taking everybody. Who was fighting? Y'all, come on. It ain't no, oh, I'm going to just take the man now. So you got to be mindful of the fights that you want to really fight, ladies. I'm not about to be sitting up here arguing with my son, and I already know if something get physical, it's a wrap. All it takes is one time for you to fall, hit your head, or anything. But just the fact that when families are beefed out like that, it gets physical. It gets dangerous. It gets frustrating. It becomes challenging. And so you have to look at the situation and say, do I really want to get physical with this? Do I really want to get involved in this? Do I really want to make a bad decision to cause us both to retard our progress? See, generational blessings won't cause you to retard your progress within your family. That's why when you see the Maroney families in the city of Detroit, when you see the Fisher families. See, I talk with families here in the city of Detroit that run this city. See, we think in this city council, yeah, they making decisions, but they ain't running nothing for real. They ain't running nothing. Yeah, we got a mayor, but he ain't running nothing either. Let me tell you something. There are families in this city, in this state, that are running the show. And if you're not careful, you and your family will become puppets in somebody else's show. I'll be damned if I leave this earth and my son got to struggle See, some of you parents, y'all bold. Y'all ain't thinking about y'all kids. All you thinking about is what you want right now. You're not thinking about what am I setting up right now that's going to help my babies. So that my babies don't got to go sit at the FIA office like I did. I hated going to the FIA office asking for a bridge card or Medicaid cards or cash assistance. I felt dirty. I felt disgusting. But I had to do what I had to do because I needed to be in a position where I could help my baby so that he don't got to do this. So that when he becomes a father and a husband, he knows which way and what doors he needs to take, and he just not out here trying to figure it out. Great parents don't cause their kids to just figure it out. It don't mean that they don't allow their kids the freedom to learn. I give my son the respect and freedom to allow him to drive and, go out and see places. That's why I put him in Japanese, and I made him play the trumpet, and I made him get a part of academic games and the STEM program. He didn't want to do none of that. If it was up to my son, he would be chilling, playing his video games, kicking it, chilling. But I'm not a parent that's going to allow my son to sit around on his ass. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Because if I do it now, guess what? 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I'm going to be the parent that's saying, get off your ass. Do what you doing with your life. Because it's one thing for you to give your kid the freedom to figure themselves out, but it's a whole nother ball game for you to be able to give them the wisdom and the knowledge and to impart that love into them. This is one of the reasons why I loved his grandparents and why he loves his grandparents so much, because they took the time to make time. Some of y'all act like y'all so damn busy. You ain't busy. You ain't busy. We in a pandemic. Yeah, we busy, but you ain't that busy. And before the pandemic, some of y'all use being busy as an excuse to be a better person. Well, guess what? God knows all. He sees all. And he knows if you a good mama. He know if you a good daddy. He know if you a good uncle. If you a good aunt. He know if you've been there for kids. He know if you've been the one to hurt kids. He know if you've used kids as a pawn. He knows that you've used kids to uplift and do right by them. I'm going to tell you something. One thing's for sure, two things for certain, is that I sleep peaceful at night knowing that my intentions of why I do things are pure. God honors me because he honors the heart, not the things that people say. God honors what's going on up in here. And see, there is a difference between you fooling the people, right? See, because you can fool the people all day long on social media, making it seem like you having the best life. You the greatest mother. You're the best father. You are booming in your business and everything is everything. Yeah, you can do it on social media. It's easy to fool everybody on social media until miscommunication happens, until the breakdown happens. One of the reasons why Kirk Franklin was exposed is because there is some chaos that's going on in that household that we don't know about. There are some challenges that family has had to go through that we don't have a clue about. Before we decide that we want to dog somebody out or have an opinion about somebody, we don't know the full story. We don't know what happened. There's always two sides to the story and the truth. And sometimes one person is telling the truth. That's why you got to be careful who gets to tell the story first. A good friend of mine told me the other day, you got to be careful who gets to paint the picture first, because some people will be itching to hear the narrative. See, it was easy for other women to slander my name because other women were ready to receive the slander. They were ready with itching ears to hear something bad about Zsa Zsa. Oh, what? I knew she wasn't all that she said she was. So when your person is being a FedEx and a messenger and taking messages back to people back and forth, they ain't doing it because they want you to have a great relationship. They're doing it because they want chaos. They want division. One of the reasons why my son's father never wanted me and that young lady to talk is because he knew if me and her got together and actually had a conversation, then maybe, just maybe, we could have some productivity with our children. My son getting ready to go off to college. I'm getting ready to have a whole empty nester. And at the end of the day, had I not put myself in a position to prepare to be an empty nester, we'll be around here trying to figure it out. And I want to say this too. As a parent, I literally grew up with my son. There were things that I did not know, and I had to learn as I went. And sometimes moms, parents, we have to give ourselves a little bit more room to grow, to make those mistakes. Because I'm going to tell you, my mom never intended to have 7 kids. But because how life ends up going and being, you don't know how life will turn up. You know, I always thought in my mind I would have no kids. I was never getting married. And I end up having a kid. I end up getting married. And then there's a part of me that may possibly want to have a kid again. But he gonna have to have that money, that cash money records for the 99 2000s, y'all, in order for me to bust it wide open for a real ninja and have another baby. I'm 17 years, almost 18 years out the game, and I don't know if I want to relive that again. So, with that being said, listen, make sure you follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Zsa Zsa, because you do. Don't be acting like that. Share this video. Listen, it's Women's History Month. Listen, we are talking all about PWA, Parents with an Attitude. Because I'm going to tell you something. At the end of the day, when you have parents who genuinely love their children, they are going to invest whatever it takes for that child. I literally was filming on 313 Day, and I saw a man and his 2 boys, and they looked very, you know, rough. You know, they didn't have on newer things. You know, they looked a little dirty. You know what I'm saying? But they were out selling candy, and the dad had got them pizza. And they were just laughing, and the man was joking with me, and, you know, the kids, you know, were so happy to be with their dad. And see, fathers, I want to say something to fathers. You don't always have to have everything together for your children just to spend time with them. When my father finally came home from prison, all we wanted to do was spend time with him. Go to the park, walk in the neighborhood, ride bikes. There were things that we could have done for free, for the free ball. And as parents, we put so much pressure on ourselves to give something to our kids. And if you're like me and a single parent, you're going to overcompensate for what the other parent ain't doing. And so now you are creating this stress that you don't need. And sometimes all your kids want is a hug. All your kids want is to you to be saying it's okay. My son's father and I caused a lot of trauma and drama that we're literally trying to repair as he's getting ready for adulthood. Because we didn't understand what it truly meant to put our energy into what we just created, whether it was intentional or unintentional. That's why, fathers, if you know you're not in the picture of your child on an everyday basis, it is not in best practice to be upset with the mama. Don't be frustrated with the mama and trying to, you know, hurt the mama and, you know, get back at her, because what you do is you inadvertently hurt your kid. There were times that I expressed my frustrations with my son because I was mad at his father. Because he looked like him. Because he done said something that sounded like something he would say. Because he looking at me with them old weird Scott eyes. And I'm all looking at him. And now I feel some type of way because I'm looking at him with an emotional parent eye. And I'm not looking at him as, this is my baby, I am his mother. He didn't ask to be here. My frustration should not be with my kid. You yelling at your kid because your kid got to be on virtual school. Guess what? Your kids don't want to be there with you either. They don't want to be there with you either. So while you yelling at them and taking them through the flux and the motions because you don't want to sit there with your kid in front of a camera because now you got to be a mama and now you got to be a daddy, and it's frustrating. It's really frustrating when you got to do it by yourself. So as y'all are getting these stimulus checks and as you are having your great debates in your kitchen and over the phone and on your social media, I want you to really, really think about, are you practicing being a good parent? Are you putting in best practices to not talk about people behind their back? Are you raising your children to be women and men of integrity? Do you find it difficult to stand up in the midst of adversity? Because I'm going to tell you something. I literally just went through a situation where a group of women were okay with dogging me out. All because I want to help. But because of other women and their egos and their pride and being arrogant and thinking that they running something. And see, at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you something. You don't want to make other people feel small and minute, like their efforts don't matter, like them helping you doesn't matter. And at that moment, what they did was they caused me to feel like my efforts were in vain. And so when I feel like I ain't want it, I'm not about to stay nowhere where I'm not celebrated. I'm not about to let you tolerate me. I'm not going to be around people who I got to beg for their attention, beg for their time. I'm not about to be sitting around people who feel like, oh, you want me to leave? Well, guess what, baby? You ain't said nothing but a word. Because at the end of the day, you get to a point in life where you learn, you know what? I extended the olive branch. I made the decision to do what I did because I wanted a different outcome, and I assumed that these mature individuals wanted the same positive outcome. And I'm going to tell you something, people. There are going to be people that are going to come across in your life that are going to pretend they want the same thing as you. They going to say they want the same thing as you. But when it comes to the effort to get the results that they want, it won't be the same. While you're giving the 80% and they're only giving the 20%, now when the results come and they want 80%, when all they did was 20%, you got to watch people like that. Because I'm going to tell you something. You can be in a situation where you'll be around people that can build you up, or you can be around people that can tear you down. And you got to be able to make a decision, parents, women and men. Are you going to be the woman that tears down another woman, that drags another woman, that lies on another woman? Or are you going to be the woman that's really of integrity and you're not holding anybody in a certain standard because of their title, their economic status, or their position? Or are you going to be the woman and the man that treats everybody the same, that deals with everybody accordingly? Because see, there are times that people let other things slide because of who they are and what they think they're going to get from that relationship. Let me tell you something, baby. When you wrong, you wrong. And when you right, you right. When I had my nervous breakdown, my pastor came to my house because somebody saw me outside tearing my house up. Because I was tired and I was fed up as a woman. I had been through raising kids that wasn't mine, dealing with a child father that ain't helping me, ain't supporting me, opening up a business, watching it flop, watching my mom go from great health to literally being killed by the hospital, running back and forth, working in government, dealing with people down at the city county building, getting on my last nerve, literally getting married, going through a divorce, and marrying people at the same time, trying to pretend I'm happy. I got my ex-husband and his new wife being paraded around in the church. I got people looking at me all weird and funny, thinking I want this man back and I don't. I got people that were supposed to be praying for me. They talking about me. And here it is. I'm walking into a household with people that don't appreciate nothing that I'm doing. So I was tired. And I was fed the F up. And my pastor and his adjutant came across the street. And I cussed him out too. And I'm not saying it in a way where I'm braggadocious, because I literally prayed to God for literally 2 weeks straight that I didn't go to hell for talking to the man of God the way that I did. I literally was scared because I just knew that I was going to die. I said, okay, Zsa Zsa, now this is a check that your ass can't cash. Okay? Now what are you going to do? Because you can't take back the stuff you say. And see, this is one of the reasons why Kirk Franklin's son wanted to expose him. Because he wanted people to see who he saw. And see, at times, there are people that are going to want to expose your behavior because they're tired of it. And see, sometimes you'll be the one to expose your own behavior and your own foolishness. And at that particular moment, I was fed up. I was a parent with an attitude. I'm raising kids, trying to provide for things that I didn't even need to be in control of. And it just spiraled out of control. And here it is. I'm finally in a position where I can get my life back. I'm finally in a position where I can have my life under control and I can get my life back, and it feels good. It's a peaceful feeling. And I want to stay there. And you don't want anybody in your life that's going to cause any type of obstruction to the peace in your life. Your kids, your spouse, your mate, your job. I walked away from my position at Wayne County after working there for 10 years because I just needed peace. I needed that peace. I'm literally dealing with a divorce and I got to marry people for a living. I need some peace. I didn't have it. When I chose to do certain things, it was because, okay, now I'm in a place where I need to be. I'm at a place where I need to be. Okay, nope, you want some foolishness? Nope, exit stage left. I'm right where I need to be. I tell my son, at this particular moment, as your mother, what you do in these next few fleeting moments, it's all on you, baby. It's all on you. I have prepared you to fly the coop, right? I prepared you to fly the nest. Now, as a mother, and this is something we got to stop doing too in the black community. Oh, at 18, you got to go. Oh, you got to get out of here. One of the things when I do community outreach, there's an influx of 16 to 21-year-olds who don't have nowhere to live. They living from pillar to post, living with friends, and dealing with the pandemic didn't make it no better because they really didn't have nowhere to go. Families weren't really receptive to people coming over and spending the night. There were some of my son's friends and co-laborers with sports that parents, they didn't care nothing about their kids. They didn't come to no games. They wasn't in no practices. They don't talk to no coaches. They ain't come up to no school. They ain't come up to no parent-teacher conference. They ain't come to no PTSA meetings. They wasn't concerned about none of that. Go to school. Do what you need to do. I'll holler at you later. And I vowed to not ever be that parent because my mom wasn't that parent. And although my mom had 7 children, let me tell you something. Everybody at the PTSA knew who my mama was. The principals knew who my mama was. Superintendent knew who my mama was. The board of education, the area D code or whatever that little building was on Chicago and Wyoming where you got to go and get your little community service hours. Everybody that was involved with our education and our quality of life, my mom knew. And she knew her kids' friends. She knew her kids' boyfriends and girlfriends, or the little people that considered or called themselves liking us. Listen, let me tell you something. The most challenging job and the most rewarding job that you will ever have is being a parent. Whether they come from you, they're adopted, whatever. You're the guardian. Your best job and your most rewarding job is being somebody's parent. Anybody and everybody who's ever invested in me as a kid, and to see the success that I'm having right now and the success that I'm getting ready to have, You should be proud that you had a part of that. If you've ever invested in me as a kid, you didn't make me feel bad for having a big mouth. You didn't make me feel bad for being opinionated. See, you got to watch how you treat little kids when you tell them to shut up. Stop that. That's dumb. You stupid. You this, you that. And mind you, I done been there too. You know, I done had to cuss my son out a time or two. Fool, is you crazy? That's dumb. That's stupid. You being stupid right now. I've been there, parents. I've had to have asked God to forgive me. I remember one time I whooped Tayshawn so bad, y'all, I started crying. He needed that whooping, though. But I was crying because I was just like, I didn't want to whoop my baby. But he needed a whooping. It's sometimes if you don't chastise your child will end up chastising you. If you don't get your child together now, you'll end up bailing your child out later. If you don't get a handle and invest in your kid and find out what your kid loves, you'll be looking at your child experiment on all types of stuff later. See, my mother invested in my gift. She never allowed me to not do what I wanted to do. If I wanted to be mistress of ceremony and I had to do a program, guess what? She didn't tell me, no, you can't be mistress of ceremony. We got to go home. I got to go to work. She found a way for me to get a ride home from church or get a ride home from the school just so that I could be involved. You guys have to make sure that you are investing in your children's future because your best benefactor is going to be the way you've raised your kids. I was able to take care of my mama wholeheartedly, lovingly, and not grudgingly because my mother was a good mother. There are some mothers right now that will probably never be cared for. There are some fathers that are going to be on their deathbed and their children will not be there because you weren't a good parent now. I asked my son the other day for graduation, if you only get 2 tickets, who you want? And you already know his answer was me and his grandma. So you got to be careful that if you don't invest your time now with these kids, they will look at you like a stranger when they get older. And what you don't want is to know that you have an amazing child out here in the world and they don't want nothing to do with you. That's what you don't want. You don't want to be in a position where you have a child out here and they don't want nothing to do with you because you decided that you didn't want to be a child right now. And I'm going to tell you this right now, parents, and I'm about to get out of here. Your child should not have to call you. They're a kid. Your kid shouldn't have to call you, Daddy, you coming to pick us up? That shouldn't be. You should be calling your kids every day. Let me tell you something. My son's grandfather bought my son a cell phone at 6 years old. Before the phase and the trend of kids having a cell phone was in right now. My son literally had a cell phone at 6 years old because his granddad was tired of calling me and me telling him that I got to call him back because I'm on another call. He was so invested, his grandparents were so invested in my son that they wanted to make sure that they had access to my son at all times in the event that they couldn't get with me. That's called investment. And my son's grandfather called my son every day in the morning before he went to school, when he came home from school, while I was cooking dinner, at night before he went to bed. He was always vested in wanting to know what was going on with my kid. Not because he was a weirdo. And you got to watch that too. You got to watch people who are invested in your kids that are perverts. Ladies, you should be leaving your kids with your boyfriend and y'all only been kicking it for a month. You don't know if he a pervert, if he like to touch little girls or little boys. Because he been messed up. Because one of his parents didn't sit down and talk with him. Fellas, don't be so quick to leave your kids with the other baby mama or another girlfriend. Let me tell you something. Tayshawn's other brothers and sisters' mama knew not to play with me about my child. Because you know that if anything pops off with my kid, it's a wrap, sus. Sus, it's a wrap. Sus, it's a wrap. You might as well go ahead and call Clora Funeral Home, Old Pie, Swanson. You might as well call them now. I might as well call Wayne County, tell them to pick my numbers. Y'all might as well go ahead, pick the judge, the prosecutor, defense attorney. Because if something happened to my kid, why he with your girlfriend, your baby mama, it's going to be a problem. And that was a conversation that I had to have with my kid's dad. We not about to play that. We ain't playing that. And I'm going to tell you something, dads. You should have enough respect for your children's mother to not even want to put her in that position. And you should have your girlfriend, baby mama, or whoever in check to know, hey, I don't care about what y'all got going on. These my kids. And I want my kids to be good. See, as a parent, you start looking at stuff differently. You stop looking at it for the vagina and the penis game. Because when the penis and vagina are no longer a part of the situation, okay, now what's the real problem? Why you really mad? If we ain't having sex no more, and we ain't together no more, why you can't be a good dad to your kids? Why you can't be a good mom to your kids? If we're not in a relationship no more, right? And that's why you got to be mindful of who you lay down with. You know, it's an adage that says you lay down with a dog, you end up with fleas. You get up with fleas. And you got to be careful that you're not so caught up in a man's looks and a woman's looks that you end up becoming, you end up having a kid with somebody who you end up hating for the rest of your life. Because now this person has caused you so much hell and so much pain because of 7 minutes of fun and pleasure. 7 minutes of y'all pumping, hotting, sweating, breathing hard. He done pulled your wig cap back. He hot. He sweating. Y'all done clenched the booty cheeks. Y'all done climaxed. Now she pregnant. Now you confused. Now you mad. Now you sad. Now y'all looking at each other talking about what you gonna do? Well, what you gonna do? Well, what you gonna do? Now she decides she gonna have the baby. Now you got attitude. No, G. No, G. No, G. We gonna keep it above 1,000. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something, fellas. You knew when you went raw in that girl, in that woman, when you stuck your unprotected penis. The unprotected penis. The penis that will allow you to secrete semen, which allows you to impregnate a woman. Ladies, you knew when you opened up your legs and he stuck his penis in your vagina without a condom. You knew the liability. It's just like when you get on the grounds of Cedar Point. When you get in line to get on the ride for Cedar Point, you have already agreed to the terms when you bought your ticket to get into the amusement park, that now you are agreeing to the liabilities that come with being at this amusement park. When you get on that roller coaster, you can't sue Cedar Point because you done had an anxiety attack, or you sweating, or you vomiting, and you done ruined your outfit because you couldn't keep your food down because you done got on the roller coaster. It's the same thing with being a parent. You don't get to decide whether or not, oh, no, I ain't signed up for this. Yeah, you did. When you had sex, that's when you signed up. When you stuck your penis in her vagina, that was the dotted line right there. Both of y'all. So whatever comes from that, you have accepted the liability of that relationship. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, it's your girl, Zsa Zsa. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Zsa Zsa because you do. And listen, make sure you set your DVRs up for tomorrow. TV show, Uncommon Conversations with Zsa Zsa. Listen, I'm trying to make my TV show the #1 show in the market, and I need y'all help. I need y'all to support me because y'all want to be on TV, and you may not have a product, a service, or an invention right now, but I'm going to tell you something. The same way Oprah put everybody else on, the same way Tyler Perry put everybody else on, you best believe if you come on my TV show, if you come on my podcast, I'm going to big you up. I'm not a hater. Now, them people that you running with, them the people you got to watch. Listen, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, listen. In this next season, God is orchestrating our families to be in a better financial position. And one of the reasons why families have such a hard time being successful is primarily because of our finances, our economic position in the world. And when we get the little bit that we get, we blow it. We spend it. Listen, if you don't hear nothing that I've said on today, and I've said a lot, take this next little bit of money that you get, and I want you to solidify you. Don't you go buy nothing until you have your main things taken care of. If you don't own a house, that should be what you're looking for. If you don't own your car, that's what you should be looking for. If you knew that you went and got a car and you got to pay a note, pay up a year's worth of that note. So that way, that year, you have to make some money. Every time you get some money, pay some off. Every time you get your money, pay that rent first. So that way, when you partying and you turning up and you having a good time, when you come back off that high, you ain't got to worry about getting evicted. You ain't got to worry about your kids not having nowhere to live. But after you've done taking care of all your bills, paying your car note, paying for your car to get fixed, taking care of your business. See, one of the reasons why women were jealous of my mother and they couldn't understand how my mom was able to raise 7 kids is because my mama took care of her business. She wouldn't always make all the best decisions financially, but she knew that I have to provide a household for my family. And when you know that you have a household that you got to maintain, your responsibilities are different. You don't have time to hang out with friends if you got a business you trying to maintain. How you expect people to take what you building seriously if you don't take what you building seriously? You pick it up, you put it down, and you want people to support that. You can't. Let me tell y'all something. In the next few weeks, I will be celebrating my 100th podcast show. And I don't care what nobody got to say about nothing. Whether it's a little bitty this or a little bitty that. Guess what? It ain't little bitty to the people who inboxing me. It ain't little bitty to the partnerships that I'm getting from it. It ain't a little bitty show to the lives I'm helping. So to the haters out there, it could be a little bitty whatever to you. And whatever you're building, don't let nobody else make you feel like it's a little bracelet line. Oh, it's a little beauty shop. Oh, it's a little lipstick line. Oh, yeah, she got her little fashion line now. No, it ain't little. It's little to them because they don't see the bigger picture. So you leave them in their little bitty mindset right over there in their little bitty situation. Because let me tell you something, honey. I'm going for the Billy. And when I say the Billy, I'm going to be a billionaire and a multi-billionaire. And what I know for sure is that there are people who've done it before me. And I know people who've done it before me that I know personally, which gives me great pride and it gives me great confidence knowing that if I got their wisdom, the wisdom of the ancestors before me, the wisdom of the people who are around me now, I don't have a choice but to be exactly what it is that I'm going to be. Now, to the people who don't believe, that's their fault. They gonna have to be uncomfortable with your girl being successful. They're gonna have to be uncomfortable when they turn on the TV and they see me on a commercial. They're gonna have to be uncomfortable when they at the doctor's office and they looking at a magazine and they see my face in it. They're gonna have to get uncomfortable when they driving down the street and they see my face on a billboard. They're gonna have to be uncomfortable. At the end of the day, when you are a parent with an attitude, you are not consumed about making people comfortable because you are focused on a goal and a task at hand. And when you are focused on a goal and a task at hand, you are not going to allow anybody to distract that or destroy it. I love peace in my household. I prayed and I asked God for peace and I want to keep peace. Listen, when that money comes, make best decisions for you and your household, for you and your children. Okay? Not for nobody else. Not for what nobody else wants you to do. Not for no get rich quick scheme. Something solid. And if you don't know where to go, slide in my DMs. Hey, sis, listen. I want to do something. Don't know what I want to do. I need some help. Now, don't call me wasting my time. Because y'all know I ain't got time to be playing no games with none of y'all. Y'all ain't got a heaven and hell to put me in. But if you genuinely saying, okay, Zsa, I need some direction. I don't really know what I want to go. I don't know what I want to do. But I got this money and I don't want to blow it. Because being poor don't look good on me. Okay? I don't do well being in poverty. I don't do well with not having. For those of you who are comfortable with being poor and being in poverty, I feel bad for you. But I was not born to struggle. I was not born to beg. I was not born to steal. I was born to be abundantly blessed and to live in a place of prosperity. That's my address. My address is Blessings Boulevard. Okay? Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, I want you to enjoy your week and enjoy your weekend and make sure that you are wearing your mask. COVID-19 did not disappear. It's still here. Just read about a 12-year-old little girl who's literally dying because she had an aneurysm, because she was saying her head hurted, which is one of the signs of COVID-19. You all need to be paying attention to your kids. While you out here paying attention to Candace Owens, Cardi B, Joe Biden, all of them people, they got their money. You hear me? They got their stuff together. You get your stuff together. Because when the stuff hit the fan, and if something pop off, what you gonna do with you and your family? How you gonna survive with you and your kids? So at the end of the day, you need to put yourself in a position. Let me tell you something. Ain't no penis in the world, ladies, that's gonna make me stop investing in my kid. There's no, let me tell you something. I have watched women allow men to come into their household and run their household when they couldn't even run their own. You don't let no man come in and run your household if he can't run his own. He just want to tell somebody what to do. You got to be careful with being connected to dictatorships. You got to be careful with people that always want to be in charge. I ain't always got to be in charge. Do I like to lead? Do I know I have the ability to get it done and accomplished because I have faith in my capabilities and my abilities? Yes. But you got to be mindful of people who always want to be in charge and they got to be the one to do the whatever. You got to be mindful of them type of people. Because them type of people got control issues. When my mom was married to my stepdad, he came from an army background, a dictatorship background. So his thought process and how he was raised in the projects and all that different stuff, that affected him. So it was going to affect the way he was going to raise or try to raise us. And my mama wasn't having that. And my mama wasn't having no man come in her house trying to run stuff. You just don't. So listen, happy International Women's Month, History Month, all that good stuff. Make sure y'all follow me, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure y'all follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my Instagram, all that great stuff. And share this video. Don't be a hater. Share the video. Okay? Listen, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. And until next week, I love y'all. Peace.